Hey everybody, it's Avenged Decay, and today I'm going to be reviewing Cyberpunk 2077. Now, by the way, I am playing on PC, so people's experiences might vary. I just want to also point out that the performance bugs that people are talking about aren't really as visible in my version of the game. For some reason, I am one of the lucky ones who didn't actually get very many game-breaking bugs. I found the AIs were actually pretty smart and intelligent. They were very competent. And there was moments where I was actually worried that I actually would die. Okay, now that we can get out of the way, also texture bugs and dialogue glitches also really weren't existing in my game either. Not to say that they won't exist in your version of the game, but for me personally, I really haven't had any issues with this game, and I've enjoyed pretty much every experience I've had, all the experiences, and all the playthrough that I've actually been given. Now I'm just free roaming in Night City, and one thing I gotta mention in this game is that Night City is probably one of the most beautiful open world maps I've ever experienced, next to, well, no, I don't know if Bioshock is considered open world, but I think that probably Rapture City would probably be my second favorite. But this city is really colorful and beautiful. It's just something about the futuristic environment that really makes this game for me. Also, the story of this game is also a delight to experience. I found it's nothing I've actually ever experienced ever in video games, and the fact that the story is the way it was, honestly, I'm okay with it. Now keep in mind, I was expecting a GTA mafia mobster gangster type story with this game, and that's kind of what I got at the beginning. But then later, it kind of becomes something different. It's not the same game that you're actually playing after. It feels way more different and interesting. And the way they also introduce Johnny is just very interesting and intriguing, as I said, as of the same things I said before. And I really don't have any issues with this game whatsoever. And as you say, that's what I mean. Like, the enemies in this game are very, very competent. When this game does actually work, it can actually be pretty challenging also. Enemies can wipe you out very easily. However, the amount of meds they do give you makes it 10 times easier than it honestly probably should, to be honest. Also, this game is also an RNG based game, so every playthrough is you're gonna get different guns at the beginning of every single save, which makes it easier for me to play through it over and over and over and over again, in all honesty. But yeah, the story ends up being it's just a very good story overall, and it was a delight to experience, and it's just something I just never seen in a video game before. But anyways, going more into the RNG, is it as creative and as massive of an element as Borderlands 3, no. I think the loot is very uninspired. And really, the one thing I do like about the loot in this game is they do look, yeah, they look the same and everything, but at least they have different camos depending on where you pick them from. That I do like. However, I do wish that there's a lot of content that I did wish was actually in this game, and that was leaked. Like, being able to climb up the walls with the Mantis Blade, that is no longer in this game. The wanted system, it wasn't really that much of a wasn't that much of a bother to me, because I don't really look for wanted systems to really have fun in a game. And I was expecting this game to be more like an RPG. However, as it does have some RPG elements, it is definitely nowhere near an RPG game. This game is an action-adventure open-world game. People might say differently, but to me, that's what it is. It's an open-world RPG game. Anyways, continuing and moving on. So I really wasn't expecting, you know, a game. I wasn't expecting GTA out of this game. And if you guys were expecting GTA, then just a little bit unrealistic. Anyways, continuing on. Also, the vehicles also kind of look very modern, considering we're in the future and stuff. And I kind of do like that. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of like, this is back to the missed content thing. You can't actually customize the cars that you buy. You're stuck with whatever they look like. And I feel like that's a huge thing. Is that just a huge thing not to implement in this game? As you can buy vehicles, but like, what's the point of buying vehicles if you can't customize them as your own? Also, the other reason why I won't call this game an RPG game exactly is because everything you do in the city really doesn't matter. There's no reputation system in this game. But anyways, yeah. There's some cool guns, and then there's some basic guns. But I find the loot is very uninspired. Oh wait, I already mentioned that. What else? I'm trying to think of all things that are both positive and negative about this game. This game does take a lot of risks. And there is multiple endings. However, there's a lot of endings that just feel like they should be more than they really are. If that makes any sense. So far, I've only really had 2 actual convincing endings in this game. And, that's pretty much it. There's probably several other endings that I probably have not even bothered to go through. Also, there's also skills that you can also level up. There's also, like, character skills that I'm still trying to figure out how to actually build my character. And they're just not really descriptive, and it's really hard to choose the a sort of skill class that you want to invest on. And what sucks is there is actually no respec system in this game. So whatever you choose, you can't actually change. And I think that's also another cut. That's another thing that I wish they actually implemented in this game. Maybe in the future. But for what the game is right now, it's fun. I could see myself sinking. I could see myself sinking a lot of hours into this game. Side missions are actually surprisingly pretty unique. There's several side missions I actually done. Some involved me actually talking to a soda machine who wanted to be my friend. Others involved me talking a car out of suicide, which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And then there's also other side missions that actually can inflect on the actual in-game consequences. Like, some side missions do feel like they should be played before you beat the game, as they just don't really feel what's the word I'm looking for? They don't really feel. They feel like they're misplaced or out of place if you actually do some of the side missions later on in the game. So I invite you to spend just as much time with the side missions as you do the main missions. But, I mean, that's how most people should be playing games like this. And if you're expecting something, and this game, you either like this game or not, it all really depends on your expectations when it came to this game. If you're just expecting a fun game that you could sink tons of hours in, then this game is going to be worth your purchase. I think this game has a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential to be Game of the Year, personally. But the main issue is that I don't know if I can... Instead, it ends up being a game that could have been more had it had more attention. I think this game definitely could have used more time in development, and I think that actually would have only made this game much more only would have made this game better, as there is, like I said, a lot of cut content. It is a good game, and it's serviceable. But there is some things that I kind of do feel like I'm missing in this game. It's not game breaking. It's not. It's not game changing or that to the point where like it's just not a fun game to play anymore. It's just you feel like there's just things missing. Eventually, I'm sure that with more DLC, I feel like there is going to be free DLC for this game, as there was in Witcher 3. Probably a lot of free DLC too. And they're probably going to give a lot of free DLC more for people who didn't have as good of an experience. And they're probably going to fix this game up, because this game has a lot of potential, and I can actually see this game being something pretty big. I think this is probably the most conflicted game I've actually ever played. There's so much good things that this game does, right? But then it also does, but also it also feels lifeless. For example, the world. I feel like you don't really interact with anybody besides the people that phone you and ask you to do jobs for them. There's nobody other than that. That you can really talk to. There's nobody actually asking you to do like chores for them, or NPCs running to you for help. And there's also another thing that kind of bugs me, is that you can't actually join any factions in this game unless they're tied into the story, which is very, very, very disappointing. Now, I've spent 47 hours in this game, and 48, and the story mode takes roughly about 30 hours. So, it's shorter than I thought it would be, a lot more shorter than Witcher 3. But the side missions, but with all the side content and stuff, it does actually deliver. Later on, I have to admit, this game actually does feel more like... The side missions are cool and everything. There's some that are kind of boring. But the side content also just ends up feeling more like a just shoot 'em up game. Which, I mean, for me, I have no problem with, because I actually do enjoy the combat in this game. And surprisingly, the gun physics, and surprisingly, the fact that this game is a first-person shooter, and it's CD Projekt Red's first ever, effort in a first-person shooter game. I think, honestly, aiming, the gunplay doesn't actually feel as bad as I thought it would. That's kind of how I feel about this game. This game is not as bad as people are actually making it out to be. There's a lot of enjoyment to be had with this game, as long as you actually put as long as you put your expectations low enough to enjoy those aspects. If you're surprised by, if your expectations were low to medium, mine were pretty high, but I still think they delivered. And I'm not just saying that as a bias. And I'm not just saying that in a biased way. I honestly do believe that this game is really good. Every game has flaws, and I think we should be at the point where we honestly should expect this. Though I don't like it, I feel like this is just the future of games. And no matter what people say, people are still gonna buy it, and just there's no point in. And I mean, it's a good game, so I feel like those my opinions might feel invalid, but I feel like that's all that should really matter, honestly. If the game is fun, don't nitpick it. Unless you're on consoles, and yeah, you kind of did get fucking screwed over. But if you're a PC player and you enjoyed it on PC, and you're still nitpicking it as it's not a fun game, but yet you spent 54 hours, I don't want to hear it. Because if it was a bad game, you wouldn't have spent that long on the game. And if you spend 150 hours and you're starting to see the flaws in the game, then that's just how games work. I wasn't expecting this game to have a long lifetime of things to do in this game. I was just expecting a game with a good story narrative, and it delivered in that aspect. Bugs aside, I can kind of see if people are having game-breaking bugs, I can see how their opinion will change. But the people that are fortunate enough to experience the game as is, or as it should have been, I feel like even those people still complain. And I just don't understand where gaming went in this generation. Like, I feel like people should be able to have an opinion on how they feel about a game. Yes, they have the right to definitely criticize it, whether it's doing something bad or developers are doing a really shitty thing. But you guys should not be giving that attention, that same attention towards the game itself. Anyways, I know I've been on a little bit of a rant, but anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna review the game, and I'm gonna be giving this game. I was gonna give it a 9 out of 10, but like they have a lot of missed content, and I just can't. There's some things that just feel missing, and there's just some things that should be in the game, but it ends up not being in the game. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna give this game an 8 out of 10. On PC, console, I mean, I'm not even gonna give it a rating, because like it's already gonna be in the negatives. But anyways, it's already gonna be like probably in the freeze. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Sorry I was going on a little bit of rant, and sorry this took a lot longer than I thought it would. And sorry if I was talking a lot. But yeah, like, if you decide to get this game, just be aware of the issues. Personally, I think this is a game that if you have, and you enjoy it, keep it. If you don't have it, just for your sake, I definitely would not recommend purchasing this game. Wait for it to get fixed. Like, wait for a few patches, and then once those patches come in, I definitely would recommend this game. Without a doubt. I think this game is definitely something new. And I really do hope it actually does give more innovative games with innovative narration, sort of similar to this game. Just the way they introduce Johnny is just creative on its own, and something I just wasn't expecting. But yeah, that's gonna do that. This is gonna do the review for me. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining my streams and listening to my commentary. It's not the best commentary, I know, and sometimes I feel like I did repeat some things over and over again. But I'm gonna end it right here, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by the video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know how you feel about Cyberpunk. Do you think it needed more time? Do you think the game is just not fun? Do you think it has a big future ahead of it? What do you think? Let me know. Anyways, I'm out, guys. Love you all. Peace. And I'm out.